Hey, my name is Vincent Meza. This is Listings to Leads, and we want to talk today about top ways to get more listings. Before I dive into all that, I do want to remind everybody, if you're just starting to learn about us, that we are a full real estate advertising platform for realtors. Um, we have really great listing automation tools. We have really awesome content for social media. We have great ways for you to get buyers, and we have a whole toolkit to help you get more listings. And the point of this call today is to help you get more listings. So I want to show you a couple things before I dive into my normal deal here. So Scott and I get this report every week, and we can tell who's generating the most leads. I want to give you a couple of examples of some clients that are just generating great leads. This is a real simple, it all starts from here. What is your home worth? You want to always have a landing page like this for every area that you're in, right? For wherever you are. This is for Woodbridge, Virginia. Now, one thing I'll just say, it's not really critical. You'll notice this one says Montgomery, and you'll notice this one says Woodbridge, VA, right? I don't really think you need the VA when you're doing that because you're marketing, you're controlling your marketing. When you're using it, whether it's on social media or it's on Google or it's in print or a flyer, you're controlling where it is. So for instance, I've got Concord is right next to me, right? Concord, California. I don't have to put CA because I'm not in New Jersey. It's not going to show up over there. There's probably a half dozen Concords around the country. You don't need to worry about that. Just simple, clean. This is one here where somebody's just got a picture of a map, and this can be useful. Just, I think one thing that I'll tell you here, of all three of these, and these are actually the top in the past 7 days, these landing pages have captured the most amount of leads, okay, for listings. I actually don't recommend putting any of these kinds of pictures in the background, right? This one's okay, but would you know what that is? Would you know what that picture is? This one probably must look like Woodbridge. I'm assuming that gives you that vibe, then totally good. This one, I think putting a house, unless all the houses look exactly the same, I rarely recommend this. Let me show you what I do recommend. And I learned this from one of our clients. When I set up Coldwell Banker in Summit, New Jersey, I would do the training and I would do a call and show all their agents like, hey, this is how this platform works. And a month later, the owner of that office called me and says, Vince, this is awesome. We're capturing leads all over the place. But the number one landing page for home values actually has the Summit Diner in the background, right? It's not a house. It's not a map. It's the local popular restaurant. And that's really an important factor when you're asking somebody their address and their contact information. I don't know you. I'm seeing this in mail or I'm seeing it in an e-flyer or I'm seeing it on an ad somewhere. Do I actually know you? Or are you just throwing a page in front of me to get all my confidential information? And a picture like this, as simple as it sounds, establishes some amount of trust. Just to give you a little background, Summit, New Jersey has 24,000 people. This little converted railroad car look where you get the greasy potatoes and bacon and eggs on the weekends, that if you know this Summit Diner, Summit, New Jersey, and that's really what you're trying to convey when you are going to ask somebody, can I have your address and contact information? So that's like first thing that I wanted to talk. I was looking at these before the call started today. And there's also something else that I think I should discuss with you. So you may not know this, aside from just doing these little classes, I talk to offices and I set up teams and I set up partnerships. And I also set up our clients who want help with marketing, right? We actually have our own managed services. And I wanted to bring this up because we just signed a new client on Friday and we're about to launch her managed services. And I'm showing this to you because it's what she wants. And I think we can all learn from this. I don't know if you can capture a picture, but I'm going to tell you what this is, right? She does have listings, but she wants more listings. And so she wants us to do the work. And I'm not actually telling you, hey, sign up and have our guys do this work for you. But what I want you to see is the budget that we set. In column A, it says action. and it says FB ads for buyers. So a listing ad, $200 a month in ad spend. So that's $50 a week. We see cost per lead is about a 325 maybe. So that's about 60, 62 leads on buyer leads, and name you one phone number every month. Okay. On the sold side, and this is really what she wants. So running ads on pending and sold listings, we're going to spend $300 a month divided over 4 different ads. So we're expecting, since those lead costs on average around $6, we're expecting about 50 seller leads of name, email, and phone number. Then we also are running Google seller ads. Okay. We're spending $500 a month. We're getting those leads cost more. Now, I put in a number of a targeting cost per lead at $25. Okay. And that's only because we have a limited amount of data points. I talk to clients all over the country, and it seems like 25 might be a close approximation of what a seller lead costs. I can tell you in Dallas, it costs $30 per lead. In Pennsylvania, I've heard 22, and somewhere else, say 17. As we get to know more about the cost per leads on Google, we'll have a better number there. Then homeowner letter 2 monthly. This means we're going to send the nearby homeowner letter or a version of that letter to a list of homeowners. And we're going to do that twice a month. And they're now on average costs about $200 or $180 a month. Now, we're not expecting a lot of leads, right? Because you might get 1, you might get 5, you might get 3. So there's a high cost per lead. Okay. $100 per lead. We're also going to be doing weekly email blasts via her CRM. Okay. She's got Follow Up Boss. We can copy and blast in there all of our tools. And we're going to do this every week. And we don't know what kind of leads we're going to get. I don't actually know how many leads she has in there. And then we charge $500 to assign somebody to do all this work. And that's the monthly cost, right? Now, I want to speak to this. The monthly cost is $1,900. You can't see it. So this is the ad budget for these kinds of platforms, right? Print, Google, Facebook, right? We see a cost per lead here. But what I want to talk about before we jump into the tools is what's the quality, right? I think, just to make it like simple, I'm just going to say that's right. So, and what I've done is I just put NB. So the quality of a Google seller lead is pretty high. This is somebody, just so we can wrap our head around it. If we go to Google, and 86% of all people that go on the internet ask a question like this: how do I sell my home? 86% of all questions on the internet begin on Google. And what's the reason that these leads cost so much is it is the number one website in the country. All people come here. And when we come here, we have a question, right? We have something on our mind. I want a new car. Where can I get a good steak in New York? Where's a good hotel in San Diego? Whatever. If I have a question, I come to this site, and Google knows that. The whole world knows that. It's the number one website in the world. It's the number one website in the United States. And 86% of all questions begin right here. So the cost per lead is high, right? And but now when you're answering a question, that's the best time to offer your service, basically, right? That's what the answer is. Now, when we talk about the other A, there are 2 A's, and I just gave it a quick grade. The homeowner letter, I'll show you that in a few minutes. The way we're using that, and the way we recommend using that, the way I'm going to show you how to use it, is to get it in front of homeowners, people with equity in the neighborhoods where you have a current listing. You can do this even if you don't have your own listing and you're borrowing a listing in a farm market, and you're still going to have a really high quality tool. And we're going to go look at that for sure. But like I said, we're really only projecting 4 leads for the month. There might actually be many more than that. I've had clients get 10 leads from one mailing, but usually 1 or 2 listings our clients can get from one mailing, right? So we're going to do 2 per month. We'll go look at that in a minute. Now, the others are sold, and I'm not really focused on the buyer. stuff here, right? Because our call today is not about buyers, but we're doing that because she has listings and we want to make sure we get that sold, right? But on the sold side, I gave the Facebook ads a B, right? A B, not an A. And that's just really to signify that these are lesser quality than the Google search, right? And the reason why we know that is you can see here, I just clicked on Facebook and Lord knows what kind of random stuff we're going to see, right? Where our friends are going. My friend here just put her daughter in college. My other friends are traveling. It's my old high school. This is what is going on Facebook. The awesome thing about this site is it's the number 3 website in the United States. And American adults spend about 40 minutes a day looking at everything that their friends are doing and their family and their grandkids and what they're eating. And my buddy here who loves beer, he's in Oregon, he loves beer. And so we get to see that, right? So when we're putting an ad on Facebook, we know that people are there just looking at cats and food and other fun stuff. And then you're putting something that at that moment is like, oh yeah, you know what? I am thinking about selling my home. So maybe I am interested in that. I was just looking at what my friends are doing, but interesting, right? I'll answer the question. So getting those leads can cost you less. I think it's a great way to add and build on your database because you know that not every lead is going to be closing in 48 hours, but you want more leads to be dripping on and building campaigns and doing things like that to close those people. The people who should be responding to these ads, even on Facebook, are homeowners. Okay. So I just wanted to give you a sense because while this number here, you can see 200 on for buyers, that's good. 300 for pending and sold ads on Facebook, 500 a month on Google, and 400 a month for letters. That can certainly seem like real money, right? That's what, about 1,500 bucks. And then you got your time to do that, right? And I will show you this because we're going to, I've now been yammering on for about 13 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do this work in probably 15 minutes. Okay. So maybe 15 minutes a week to do these things, right? So let's go look at that. There was something else I wanted to say. We'll have to come back to it. Let's go over and look at listings to leads. Now, we're going to make the assumption that you connected your Facebook account, you connected your Google account, you've got credit cards on both of those accounts. So when we're running ads here, they're going to be charging your cards there. There are a lot of great companies that give you this kind of information or this kind of service, but a lot of them are taking a percentage. You don't actually know how you're getting these leads sometimes. But in our world, it's pretty simple. If we click on ads, we're going to be the first thing it's going to say connect to Facebook and then it's going to say connect to Google. So you're connecting your accounts and then all the branding is going to your accounts. And so we'll just give it a second to get over there. So you can see here are all the kinds of ads that we've run in the past. And you can see here that this property is sold. So your listings usually hit the system when they're just listed, right? They auto sweep in, they drop in. And for a lot of clients, they don't even run an ad on their property when it's just listed, right? They see the automation going out and they think that's awesome and they get some free leads. And many clients are very excited just by that. So I'm just going to show you what it's like to create an ad for a listing that you have. So we've got a $35 ad, 15-mile radius. It's going to be going for 7 days. You can expand the radius. Like, I don't know where Oshkosh is, but it's in Wisconsin. And I think it's a big old state. So maybe people drive further. So maybe a 45-minute drive is totally fine. You want to advertise really a far distance. There's one other thing I want to talk about now for this property, because it's up in Wisconsin, it's not exactly tied to this, but many of you are in the southern states. And as people get older, there are two things that they start to think about: warmer climate and also taxes, less taxes, right? A lot of people who are thinking of that, if you're down in Arizona or Texas or Louisiana or Florida, there are a lot of people who are like, oh God, I'm living up in New Jersey or New York and I've got horrible winters and I would really like to go someplace where it's warmer and it's just lower cost of living. But you can always change that city that's auto populating and target out of state to let people know that you've got these homes for sale. That's just on the buyer side. Very simple, right? I can tell you this, if you have a listing and it's sitting and you need to get it sold, the fastest, cheapest way to get buyer leads with name, email, and phone number is by running a Facebook ad the way we just did it. But we're all here to talk about listings. So let's talk about the first way that I think a lot of agents don't even think of, and it blows me away. You know, but this is what you do. You change your property to sold and you click create app. And we've been doing this for 13 years. I have been talking to agents for about that long. Okay. And it blows my mind that when they say, oh, I sold everything, I don't have anything to market anymore. We have all kinds of tools to help you market. We have landing pages, we have PDF guides. But and then I ask them, well, when's the last time you sold something? I just sold 2 or 3 properties, in the past month or two. That is like literally, those are your strongest tools. You can run an ad like this for every week. You're going to get leads with name, email, and phone number, maybe even the time that they need to sell. And it's pretty much written, right? You can just say, boom, publish. Now, the one thing that I don't like about ads like this is saying wholesome and that's wholesome is that you can't tighten the radius. So it doesn't make it an awesome ad, but it is still a good ad. And you can tell, I don't know if you know where Folsom is, but I can tell you adjacent to Folsom is a town called Carmichael. And there's another town called Orangeville, right? And this ad would bleed over into that area, right? But I might still click it anyway and get my home value, even though it's not talking to my particular neighborhood. That's what I don't like about the radius thing, but we can't change it. These are HUD rules slapped on Facebook, and that's just how it is. I can tell you a workaround. Maybe we'll talk about how to make this ad even more powerful, but let's talk about cost per lead. So you remember how I was telling you, let's go back to that spreadsheet. I saying pending and sold ads, cost per lead is $6. The reason why I put that number there is that on average, these leads for sold properties cost $7, right? So right here, it's a $50 ad. So if you divide 50 by 7, that's how many leads you're going to get. Okay. And this can be fairly effective. I will tell you, sometimes an ad just like this, just choose the property that's sold and click publish, works. Sometimes they don't. And as you may know, inventory is tight in this country. So you might have to take a couple extra steps. And here are some steps that everybody should do on every ad when you're trying to get listings. Is if you've got multiple offers, you want to write that, right? If you sold above asking, right? You want to let people know that, right? And if you feel like you've got people waiting to buy a home, this is all an incentive for me, the person who's looking at your ad, to respond to your ad, especially if I own a home, because you're telling me that you're doing it quickly and getting top dollar, right? Oh, that's the last thing I forgot to mention, which is actually happening. I remember before all these interest rates started going up, you would have a home soon 4 days in contract in 48 hours, right? This is all I kept hearing, right? And then interest rates went up, everybody freaked out, and that slowed down. And now you're sitting on a home for 2 months, but it's swaying back, right? Everybody's digesting higher interest rates and they know they still got to buy and all this and that. So these kinds of metrics you can put in here and make these ads stronger. So let's just remember that when we're running an ad on Facebook and we're getting seller leads with name, email, and phone number, we're getting them for about $7 each, maybe higher, maybe lower. Can we get cheaper leads from Facebook for homeowners? We can. Yes. We create a listing ad, not for a home that's for sale, but for a home that is under contract or pending. Okay. A lot of agents never, ever even think of this, right? But our call to actions on anything that's pending or under contract, it's the same message. That's under contract. When it closes, it's going to affect your business, right? It's going to affect the value of your home. So there are maybe some rules in your local area that, how do you say, don't allow you to do that. Don't allow you to market this, right? I think up in Canada, you can't even do this nationwide, right? You have to allow and think about that. But I do want to tell you, we've had our clients come back and tell us that they're getting leads for $2.38 with name, phone number, and email. So what an inexpensive way to fill your database with people who own a home, who are thinking about the value of their home. They may not close this week, but they're definitely thinking about it because they're responding to an ad like that. Much cheaper leads. If we say it's 250, that's 20 leads for an ad. You should basically, in my mind, have ads running every week on Facebook for kind of two reasons. You get a lot of impressions, which means people are getting your brand and you're capturing leads, right? Either buyer or seller leads, where we are right now. And so before we go into the others, right? Before we go back into this spreadsheet that we were talking about earlier, we're talking about the monthly homeowner letter and the Google seller ads. There's another kind of ad that we need to talk about, and that is just a straight up home valuation ad. And the way that begins is with landing pages. Okay. When you sign up, you get a free home valuation landing page, you get down payment assistance in new construction. They're fairly generic, right? They're not talking about anything in particular, but you can create landing pages for all of your farm markets, right? So I've got Pleasanton over here. You can got a little video there that maybe that's you talking about what's awesome and happening in Pleasanton. Excuse me, buddy. Stop that. Sorry. Then I got one here for Sacramento, and this is like the historic zone of Sacramento. Wherever you are, you want to have, wherever your farm markets are, you definitely want a landing page for that area. And so once you do that, and let's click on edit and tools. I got one here for Pleasanton. Whenever you create the landing page, the first thing we drop you on is, hey, let's get the background picture sorted out so that it is relevant. Now I've got a video in here and I can't remember how to get it out. Oh, it's down here. Custom page content. Yeah. Cool. Good. I like this actually without the video, but I was showing somebody you can do that. But this is Main Street. So this allows you to convey that this area, that you're a local, you're not just a random spam company, right? Now, if you click on advanced options, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff here. You can auto post this page to your social media. You can create a home value header, which means whenever you have an article that you're sharing, it'll have a little header on the top of the article that says, hey, get your home value. But the thing that I really want to point out is print marketing. Okay. And that's because print marketing actually generates some of the highest quality leads of all seller leads, right? And so when we look here at my spreadsheet, that's why I gave it an A. And let's go over here and see what we're talking about. This is called, I guess we call it the landing page letter. And you can customize this language up here in that box. You can even customize this here. Really, what we want you to do is make sure you're customizing this by saying, hey, 10 homes sold in Pleasanton last month. That's 150 for the year. And the high is here. Just a couple of data points, right? Your information's going to be here. Your logo's going to be over here. This is not a super sexy letter. Okay. This is we really want you to do two things. Click on that first link or scan it, right? And become a listing lead. That's really what we are. So we're not making a big wordy letter here that I've got to read and get confused. It's no, here's some data points for your neighborhood. Go get your free home back. It's affecting it, right? So that's why this letter works. And I'm going to leave this here and I want to talk about how to get it out. Remember how I was saying I said, you can do this in 15 minutes, right? You can do all that thing on that list. Here is where I downloaded it, but right here it says print and mail. Okay. And so if I click on print and mail, and then I click on address radius and circle prospect, you can see I'm going to send out 100 pieces to single family homeowners who have equity for more than 6 years. Okay. That's the default settings here for us. And you click submit order and it's about 180, about $1.80 a piece, right? As you can see from clicking around, I've been yammering on here a lot. You would have to create the landing page, then click advanced options, click this and here. It really doesn't take you much time once you've created the landing page, right? It just takes you probably a minute. But we have budgeted for this client 2 letters a month, which is really 360. I just put 400 because we were talking and I just put these numbers together, right? But it's about 180 per letter. And we're going to do 2 batches of 100 letters each to a target market of people that have owned their homes for 6 years or more, surrounding the listings that she already has. Okay. So this is just talking about what's going on in your neighborhood, right? There's also another tool that is even more effective or more important, and that is the listing landing page. And we see this over here on the listings side. And let's go over here. And there's something here I wanted to talk about earlier, which we'll have to come back to. When you have a property that is just listed or open house or pending or sold, if you want listings in that same neighborhood, you want to use the Nearby Homeowner Letter. This is our number one tool for capturing listing leads that turn into listing contracts. Okay. And it looks a lot like the tool I just showed you, but it's not about a neighborhood. It's about a listing, right? So here we have it here, and let's look at it together. It basically says, hey, I've got a home for sale. And you can go right over here and find out about it. You're going to become a buyer lead if you do that, but that's going to affect your home value and go get your free home back. So the thing about this page, this is the tool that our clients have been using for years. We developed this well over 10 years ago. It is the number one tool, maybe because our client, I don't know, just our clients keep telling us like they're getting listings from this. And if you go to our mastermind group, you'll see that this is continually is the truth. The thing that we are really excited about here between Scott and I is that we have automated this with our clients, for our clients, with a company called Express Copy. So Express Copy is here, there. And the nice thing about this is if you say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to use this letter. And like I showed you another one, I just want to hit everybody within 2 miles and I want them to be homeowners and boom, it's done. Right. Our clients, many of them have been with us for years, did not have that. It was not that easy. And that's what's so exciting to Scott and I is that we've developed tools that are great. They are effective, but they're a little bit challenging. And I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to show you the story of a guy. Let's see here. A second. Of a guy who moved from, I can't remember what state, and he moves over to Texas with his family. And he decides, I got to start my business. Right. And so his name is Chris Winstead, but he took this class that we're on right now and he listened to what I said and he applied it. But the great thing that Chris did is he told everybody right on this page what he's doing. And so he tells us, I got 5 listings in 3 months in San Antonio, Texas. Right. What he didn't tell us was that he had just moved to this area from out of state. Right. He didn't mention that until we had a call with him. And Scott asked him, how'd you do that? And he points it out right here. And we knew this because we'd been training on this. I've been talking about it for years. And he says, I send out letters every other week to neighbors who've owned their homes for 5 years or more. Once they opt in on the specific property valuation landing page, I contact them every week with phone calls, bomb, letters via mail, and letters left at the door. Okay. That right there is the recipe for success if you want listings, right? Now, we were really excited to see this. Chris became the top listing agent in his office and whips around and starts his own office. And the very first thing he does is starts telling people on YouTube, here's how I customize listings to leads tools to get even more listings, right? I think he's really worth checking out and following because he is applying what we're doing and just growing and growing. What he did there, what I was showing you there, we found a partner who could do it for our clients automatically because he would find the list from Remine, getting the envelopes, getting the labels on the envelopes, folding, printing 100 of these, mailing them out every 2 weeks, putting stamps on them, all that. I don't know how he was doing it, but I guarantee you it was not like this because this did not exist until about 4 or 5 months ago. We didn't add this partnership. I want to tell you, we're not taking a percentage of this. If you're spending money here to Express Copy, that's all going to them. We're not getting our kickback or anything like that. We have done this to make our most powerful tool more accessible to you. I definitely recommend you take advantage of this if you want more listings. Okay. If you've got a big database, if you got a big CRM, here's an electronic version of the same tool. Okay. Got a home for sale, extra home value. You can copy this and blast it out on your CRM, right? And I know this lady who we're about to set up here on this deal, she actually has a lot. She's been in the business a while. She has thousands of leads. And so I was like, oh, great. Then we're going to do this weekly. We're going to do a weekly blast on your leads. And there are going to be links and there are going to be ways for them to get more information. You're going to get leads out of your database, right? That's really the whole plan of that, right? If you've got 100 leads in your database, you don't need to hit them up every week. It's just, you're going to be tiresome, right? But if you've got thousands of leads, you definitely want to be doing that. Marianne has a great question. Can Express Copy mail in different color envelopes? I don't know that answer. My apologies. And I will tell you this, Marianne, did you divine that from our mastermind group? Because while I showed you Chris Winstead, Alicia Pless, yeah, I've been doing this call for, I can't remember how many years now, but I often talked about Alicia Pless, who would come in here week after week and just say, every time I mail this out, I get more listing. And she uses all these kind of crazy colors, right? Because if you have junk mail coming in, your mail, you may not even open it, right? She's saying right here, I got my third house in 6 months in the same subdivision, right? Listings to leads work if you work it. That's Alicia Pless, right? So she wants to make sure it looks custom and not like random junk mail so that people will open it. And so she was great about that. And I always appreciated that she took the time to put so much information in her mastermind group. But yeah, I don't have the answer about Express Copy doing that. Good question though. But eFlyer for your database, it's free. If you got a lot of leads, copy and paste it. Okay. Also on this page, it's something that I really recommend. It's on the listings page and we call it the seller social media tool. And I really recommend this. So whenever your listing hits, we email this tool to you. And if you're like most of our clients, you just ignore the tools that we send you. I don't even know if you read them, but a lot of our clients don't read this one because we can tell from the amount of leads. Yeah. And maybe they're just uncomfortable with it, but you send it to your client, you call your client and you say, hey, I just sent you a tool. I know you get 100 emails every day. Would you just share that on your wall? We want to make sure we get as many offers as we can for your home. And You would put this on your wall. We've got it on the MLS. We got it on our socials. We got it all over. But would you put this on, right? So if I was the homeowner and my agent sent this to me, I would put this out and all my friends and family on Facebook would see it, right? And those are much better leads than just the random internet lead, right? So we want to make sure that we are using that. These are a little more akin to a referral, right? If I've got 500 friends and colleagues and stuff like that, they're all going to see that you are my realtor. It even becomes more important. Now, whenever you change the status, let's say you have an open house, we're going to give you another one. And it's really smart to use that. Okay, what happened? Sometimes my mouse gets too look up clicks. So give me 1 second here. So you should definitely use this when you have an open house. You should also use it when it's sold. And I'm going to just show you the sold version of the seller social media because then it becomes crystal clear, right? Now this is where the agent is helping the homeowner buy a house, right? But you can do this whether you're the listing agent or the seller's agent or the buyer's agent. Say that. Now, this should have a photo in here. I think I clicked it too fast, but you can get the gist. We just sold our home or we just bought one with this agent. It's great. Here's his phone number and email in front of all our friends and family and colleagues to see. You don't get a lot of leads this way. Okay. You just don't, but they're high quality leads because they're coming from your current client's sphere of influence. Okay. From their friends, from their family. So I definitely recommend that, but definitely you got to use a nearby homeowner letter and the e-flyer for your database. Okay. So let's go back. Oh no, there's something I want to talk about right here. And that is, I want to divert a little bit into conversion. Okay. Converting. Click on listings again. Now, you remember when I was showing you what Chris was talking about regarding when he captures the lead, he hits them up over and over, right? I got to show you where that is. That's PDF guides is part of that. But what I really want to point out here on the top of the listings page, it says create listing presentation. And if you have listing presentations, awesome. If you don't, you definitely got to use this. It doesn't matter if you have one or not. What this is going to talk about is all of the ways that we're going to help you sell somebody's home, right? It doesn't talk about listings to leads. It's going to have your logo on it. It's going to have your colors, your branding, your picture. And it's going to say, this is your marketing plan, right? Excuse me. There, I think, are 27 pages of everything that we're doing, right? Now, some of this stuff is done automatically. We don't have to talk about it. You don't have to say that listings to leads does this for you automatically. The consumer market doesn't really know our name, but you are bringing a lot of technology to help sell their home. And this listing presentation is going to help you convey that. So once you get in that lead and you convert it to an appointment, get your arms around this, okay, and be able to speak to it. So that's one thing that is really important in converting. Another thing is right here in the PDF guides. And what I wanted to talk about, just because we were talking about Chris Winstead there, you remember that he said something like, I drop things off in the mail, just at their door. I mail things once a week. I call them once a week. I send a bomb message every week. And I also drop things off, right? What's he dropping off? He's just going here and downloading this in either English or Spanish. And because why wouldn't he? He's branded on every page. There are 40 of these for homeowners. If you're getting seller leads, let's just all remember, they're not closing in 48 hours. They're going to close in some amount of time. And there's a lot of information here that you can be sharing with them, right? There's 40 different reports that's a lot of content for a year. I don't think you get through 40 reports before they are actually want to talk to you about selling their home. So you've got those as resources. You can also just straight market these things, right? And so you can say, hey, I want to run an ad on Facebook, or I want to run an ad. I want to copy and blast this out on my database. that kind of thing. And then you got postcards and door hangers, just lots of ways of capturing leads with these PDF guides that are just designed for homeowners. So let's see here. I am going to jump off a little bit here. I'm going to click on social. So social is a new section that we've created, and it's really designed to help you get free content on your social media accounts where you don't have to mess with it. So when you come here, it's going to say, hey, connect to your social media accounts, right? So you connect all your pages. Then it's going to say, how often do you want us to post? You could say once a week or every day or every other day. And then it's going to say, what topics do you want? And this is where it gets a lot more fun. There are probably almost 50 different subjects of conversational content for your social media account. There are colorful pictures. They're actually engaging. I think we thought of this in terms of Keeping Current Matters and other companies that sell content to realtors. And from our perspective, it's pretty stale and boring. And I'm never a fan of that. I don't think people can even read anymore. So we want to keep it light. And that's why if you scroll down this page, you're going to see all kinds of nice design articles, just home related issues, not heavy stats, not financial news on what's going on in real estate or mortgage, just basics, right? Colorful, looks good. People actually respond to it. But the reason why I want to point this out is those PDF guides that I was mentioning to you, we can automatically post them for sellers or for buyers in Spanish or in English on your social media accounts. And every time we post them, we're going to have a landing page. So if somebody sees it and they're like, hey, yeah, I want that, they're going to have to give you their contact information to download that report. So I definitely recommend that you take advantage of that. That's a bit of a slow drip kind of thing, right? Let's go back to this spreadsheet here and make sure we didn't forget anything important. So we talked about the 2 letters. Maybe it's a nearby homeowner letter, and maybe it's a home valuation, home sold report, right? The 2 letters on this show. So we're sending 2 out per month. Going to cost about $360, not $400. We talked about pending and sold ads, and we want to talk about Google. Okay. So I mentioned it before. This is the number 1 website on the internet. Okay. So when people have questions here, what happened to the link posting on LinkedIn? Something changed over there on LinkedIn, Darius. I don't know exactly what changed. I think we're working on it, or we pulled it. We have to adjust it. Support may actually know. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer. Sorry, guys. I got a question. I had to answer that. So let's talk about Google Ads. First of all, you do need a Google ad account. And I definitely recommend it. It doesn't matter if you're selling cars, mattresses, eyelashes, or homes, you need a Google strategy. It's the number 1 website in the country. What we're doing, just like the rest of real estate advertising, is we're making it incredibly easy, right? You connect to your Google account, and then we can say, hey, I want to create a landing page ad, or I want to create a PDF guide ad. Let me ask a question. I don't even know how people are here. Have any of you run an ad on Google? Can I get a yes or no in the chat? And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to do a landing page ad on one of our home value pages. Let's do Sacramento. Yeah. Nope. So nobody so far has run an ad on Google. So I'm choosing my home valuation page for Sacramento and clicking create an ad. And all I have to do to make this a successful ad is match the city that's named on the right. What's over here, what's showing on the right, let me click this view so we can see this. This is what the ad's going to look like. And this is what I got to do to make it work. I type in the name of a town and click publish. Okay. So let's understand what does that actually mean? When we type in, how do I sell my home? If I'm a city in Sacramento, which I'm not, these are the people who are paying for these keywords in my town. But if you want to be on this page in Sacramento, you create a landing page for Sacramento and you type in Sacramento If you click view link, you're going to see the landing page that we're driving to. And I showed you where you can create these. You should actually have one of these for all of your farm market. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the ad. We put a $50 a day budget. You might remember that I mentioned that in Dallas, seller leads cost $30. I don't know where you're all sitting, right? I don't know what city or state you're in. I don't know how much competition you have, but that's going to be a factor on the cost of your leads. But the point is here, you're going to spend a maximum of $50 per day, and it's going to be a 7-day ad. Okay. And you don't want to shorten that to less than 2 days because it takes Google a little while to approve that. Sometimes it takes them 24 hours and the thing only runs for 12 hours and doesn't have good results. So we just think a week, $50. And as you learn, you might realize, hey, you know what? Listing lead cost me $15. That's what Google's charging me. And I just want to spend $30 a day and get two leads per day. That's how this should work for you. I will, since nobody has really run an ad here, I will point out some things here. We put all these keywords in here automatically. Depending on what you're using. So this is a home value ad for Sacramento. So these are the keywords that we want to be using, and this is what we're hitting. You also, if you're going to do this by hand, you'd have to create multiple headlines. These headlines are these blue things here, and you have to create multiple descriptions. So you don't have to use our software. Our Google ad software costs $30 a month. If you want to spend $50 on an ad or $500 a month on ads, that's charging your Google credit, right? But here, what we're doing is we're saying, hey, just to be able to use this and make it really simple for you, it's $30 a month to upgrade to Google. And I highly recommend it because it is the number one website. And these are the highest quality seller leads that you could find. Between that and the Nearby Homeowner Letter, I think is going to be your top one. So let's go back and make sure we didn't forget anything here we talked about. Yeah. So even here, I didn't go in deep on let's just tie up this thing. We have talked about this one client we're selling. Facebook pending and sold ads, Google seller ads, which we just looked at, and the 2 letters, right? We know we're going to do that. We can also here say, hey, we want to run ads on PDF guides, right? Because we have 40 different options. And let's see, I'm going to say seller PDF guides, and I'm going to show you a little bit something on, where's the one here? There's estate planning. That's always like living trust, right? Let's talk about creating one for living. What is a living trust, right? What is it? Its connection to, I'm in Lafayette, so I'm going to just type in Lafayette. And if I click here on view link, you're going to see we're going to drive right to a page up that we already created for you. And it's going to say, hey, give us information to download it, right? So that's where we're driving the traffic. $50. Here are the keywords, living trust. So setting up a living trust, right? So people are doing these kinds of trusts or just they're thinking, I need to set up a living trust. That's how all of these keywords are what this is going to respond to. And we've set up everything automatically. If you had to go in and do this inside of Google, God bless you. It is an ugly experience. I've been there. I am so thankful that we don't have to train people on how to work in Google because we've made it so easy, right? So I just want to make sure you guys are all aware of that. So let's see, that's how to use Google to run those PDF guide ads. You could also do a PDF guide ad on Facebook. And I'm going to go deep a little bit here. Let's talk about divorce and real estate in Lafayette. Okay. Yeah. When I click on Lafayette, again, I'm in where I live, right? And you're probably somebody thinking, maybe even not even saying, just thinking about it, right? And you have to put in the town and what I did there. And you click publish. And this is going to get leads with name, email, and phone number. Now there are 40 different PDF guides for homeowners. Okay. These leads often cost $10 to $20. Okay. Each. So if we're doing a $50 ad, you might get 5 leads. You might get 2 leads. You might get one. Facebook sets that price. It's a little bit swirly. Sometimes it's really high and sometimes it's really low. But I also want to talk. So let's do this. Yeah. CA. Okay. And you can't target any less than 15 miles. Right. Now, it actually doesn't matter because nothing in here is talking about a specific area like Lafayette. But I want to point something out to you and of the limitations of Facebook. Right. One of the problems. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little white section right here in the middle of this map. That's Lafayette. And right next to it is Walnut Creek. And right up here is Pleasant Hill. And over here is Concord, and Orinda, and Alamo, right? So I'm surrounded by all kinds of little towns. But when I run my ad, I'm going all over the place, right? But it's not really, maybe somebody is going to get a divorce in Orinda or in Concord, right? It's not working against. They're pricey leads, but they're seller leads. So maybe you want to do that, right? Especially if you don't have any content and you feel like I need to get some business going, you can do this. Again, I think they're a bit pricey. But let's talk about running an ad on home valuations. And I should really let's do a landing page and my browser's getting gunked up maybe. Let me refresh this real fast. The problem with running this kind of home valuation, which is really an ad like this, what is your home rate, is you can't target specifically on Facebook. Okay. You can't target the way you could 5 years ago. And I'll explain to you what I mean. And let's see here. So there's Pleasanton. Let's do Pleasanton. Pleasanton is another town just up the freeway. Right. And it's nice. I probably guesstimate there's 15, 20,000 people there. Right. If I type in Pleasanton, you would think, okay, that's going to target. But then there's this 15-mile radius. So what's that? That's the problem. And that's what makes these ads not very effective. Meaning you run the ad, you might get leads, you might not. Now, right about here in this map that we're looking at, everything in this map, all these people are going to see my Pleasanton ad, even though Pleasanton is this little section right here in the center. Right. So I'm way overspraying with my ad. And for some clients, that can work. And for many clients, it doesn't. And so now we're going to go into something a little bit advanced. If we go to ads, we can create a custom audience. And I'll show you where to do that. And that custom audience, you want to buy a list of homeowners, right? You want to maybe go to Remind or some other company. Kind of what we're doing with the mailing where we're targeting people with equity. We buy a list from somebody, maybe get it from your title partner. And you say, hey, you know what? I want to call this Pleasanton Homeowners. And the spreadsheet should look like this. And upload it, import it. And that's going to live in your private Facebook account forever. Even if you stop working with us, you'll be able to target the people on that list. That list has to be a minimum of 1,000 leads. It's a Facebook rule. I don't know why, but that's the case. Then once you've done that, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to create my Pleasanton page and I'm going to just click create ad and give it a second. I'm not going to use location up here. I'm going to type in this box where it says retarget current leads and I'm going to say Pleasanton. Oh, now we don't have actually a page for that. So I'm just going to do this customized. But if I had a list that would says Pleasanton Homeowners, it would just pop up in that box. Now, because I bought the list from another company and I know that these are people with equity, I am now targeting these people on Facebook direct. This is a very smart thing to do if you are mailing letters to them every 2 weeks, right? And so this is just between mailing, Facebook, and Google and your CRM. This is a really smart way of having a machine that's going to develop listings for you. Are there any questions about what we talked about? I've got 1 minute to spare. This call has been recorded. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. It will be in our mastermind group. The tools I've shown you here today are working all over the country. The one difference, if you are in Canada, we don't have the ability to give an instant valuation, but you can always wordsmith it to say, hey, we'll put that together for you. So I don't see any more questions. I want to thank everybody for joining me here today. Don't forget to check out our mastermind group. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. And really, if you want our help with managing all the stuff, we certainly have our own internal team that can do this for you. But I do think that this spreadsheet here, you definitely want to be doing this. This is really should be part of everybody's business. The question is, do you want to save $500 a month and do it yourself? All right, everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest.